What's up, inhabitants of Penguin Village? This is your resident Dr. Senbei Norimaki, otherwise known as Dr. Slump. I'm here to bring you another video review of Dragon Ball Kai, episode 101. Wow. This week's episode was a very progressive and fast episode. I believe it covered around 3 or 4 episodes of the original series. I'm not too sure, but it was somewhere around there. It was a very, very, very fast episode. But yeah, let's just jump into the material. Let's just jump into the review. So basically, we continue from where we left off in episode 100, where Gohan is now going to enter, along with Vegeta and Goku. He's going to enter the new Tenkaichi Budokai. He's basically being forced to enter by Videl, who has blackmailed him since she's found out he's Great Saiyaman. And yeah, so we get into this episode, and Krillin, we see Krillin first. Krillin is the first one Gohan tells of this great news that the Tenkaichi Budokai is returning, and that Goku's returning as well. And Krillin is like, "What? Goku's returning? I can't believe it!" And then Gohan tells us, "This is Krillin, you guys. Don't worry, this is him. He's just got hair now." And I found that really, really funny how he broke the fourth wall in that scene. But yeah, we get back into the episode, and Krillin is pondering, maybe I should enter, maybe I shouldn't. And his daughter Marin says, "Well, maybe you should, Daddy. Come on, let's fight. Come on." And he's like, maybe, sweetie. And 18 comes out of the house, and she's like, how much is the prize? How much prize money is involved? And he tells her there's 20 million for first place, I believe 10 million for second place, and 5 million for third place. And she's like, Krillin, you have to enter. I'll enter too. We've got to get that money. And Krillin's like, okay, I'll enter. And he is like, okay, great. Gohan is ecstatic. He's like, we'll see you there. And Krillin is like, what in the world is wrong with your outfit? Before you go, just tell me what happened, man. Is something wrong with your laundry today? And Gohan is like, man, you gotta get with the times, Krillin. This is styling right here, bro. And oh gosh, Gohan, how far have you fallen? You have become the laughing stock of Dragon Ball, which is rather sad since you're the main protagonist right now. Mm-mm-mm. And then next scene, we get into Piccolo, where he tells Piccolo the same thing. He says, "Well, Goku, my father Goku is coming back, and you should enter too." And Piccolo's like, "Okay, I'll enter." And before Gohan leaves, obviously he asks the same thing, and Gohan rebuttals the same thing, which is equally as hilarious because it's just, again, Gohan is such a huge laughing stock at this point. He is absolutely a joke at this point with that wardrobe. So yeah, and then we jump into the next scene. It jumps scene to scene. Like in the manga, it jumps scene, panel to panel, very, very fast paced. So this is very true to the manga. That I found that I like this. It was very true to the manga. But we get into the next scene, and Chi Chi is saying that Gohan, asking Gohan about his day, how was it, and Gohan told her about Goku coming back and him participating in the Tenkaichi Budokai, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, your father's coming back. I've got to look good." Ah, the memories of her basically fighting Goku, getting married with Goku in the original tournament that they fought in, and it's really just something funny to see her going down memory lane, romanticizing the past, heart bubbles coming up above her, and yeah, we get to see all of that happen. And Gohan mentions like, maybe I'll enter too, and Chi-Chi's like, no, you can't enter. You've got school to worry about, young man. And Gohan's like, well, there's 20 million zenny prize involved if I win. And she's like, 20 million zenny? Ooh, you've got to enter now. That's so much money you could get your PhD. And Gohan's like, okay, I'll enter. So we get into the next scene, and Gohan is preparing for the tournament with Goten. Goten's going to be his little training partner, his little brother, his little training partner, you know? And we get into the scene, and Goten is training with Gohan and he's asking, "What should I do? What should I help you with?" And he's like, maybe you can go get some little rocks and you can throw them at me behind this line." And he's like, "Are you sure you want that line to be that close?" And he's like, "Yeah, give your older brother some credit now. Come on, come on." And Goten throws the rock all right, and that rock goes immediately past Gohan, who barely dodges the rock Goten threw, and it goes through a mountain and keeps going. That thing probably won't stop until it gets to the South Galaxy. So yeah, we see this, and Gohan is absolutely baffled by this boy's strength. And Goten's like, "Wow, you really are strong. I guess I can get some more rocks and throw them at you." He's like, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. Why don't we move the line back just a little bit, just a little bit?" And by a little bit, he meant 15 meters. He moved that line back so far. It was just hilarious because Gohan knew if he kept trying to dodge him at that rate, he'd have gotten hit and he would have gotten hurt. So Goten throws the rock at the newly found distance, and Goten is like, "Yeah, this is fun," and Gohan's like, "Yeah, this is. Let's move the line just a little bit closer." And Goten says to Gohan, "Well, before we do, can I turn like you?" And Gohan's like, uh, "What? What do you mean like me?" "The blonde hair." And he's like, "Oh, you mean Super Saiyan?" No, man, you got a couple more years ahead of you before that. And before before we know it, Goten is full blown Super Saiyan. Much to Gohan's shock, he was just like, "Oh my gosh, it was crazy." So Gohan obviously asked this question, "How did you turn Super Saiyan?" And Goten's like, "Well, when I was sparring with mom, this happened." And he's like, "You were sparring with mom?" He's like, "Yeah." And it shows the flashback of him training with his mother, basically turning Super Saiyan, and he basically gets into the fact that his mom called him a punk and not to do it ever again. And Gohan's like, "Yeah, this sounds like mom." And Gohan, after saying that to Goten, he has his inner monologue of sorts, and he says, "This really isn't like mom. This is weird for her because she usually wouldn't let us do this, especially if dad was alive. I guess his death really shook her." And it's really something to see that Chi Chi is now admiring the, well, not admiring, respecting the warrior spirit that Goku had and that her sons have. And she's not going to deny it anymore. She's not going to keep them from fighting, especially since Goku's gone. He wanted that for them. He wanted them to be strong. So she says, "Why not? Let the dream live on." So yeah, we get into the next scene, and Gohan's like, "Yeah, you want to spar? You want to spar?" And Goten's like, "Yeah, sure." And they go at it, and Goten is going in. Goten is keeping up with Gohan, almost getting an upper hand. And they're hopping up a little mountain, and Gohan flies up, and Goten's like, "That's not fair. You can't fly. If I can't fly, you can't fly." And Gohan's like, "You can't fly? That's like learning to run before you crawl, dude." And Gohan is just absolutely baffled by this fact. And Goten is just so mad. He's like, "That's not funny. I want to fly." And he says, "Okay, okay, okay. I'll teach you. I'll teach you." And so, yeah, now apparently he's going to teach Goten how to fly as well. So Goten and Gohan, how should I put this? They take a break. They leave the training session, return to normal form, and go back to the house where Gohan is talking to Goten. He's like, "Wow, you're really strong. Is Trunks this strong?" He's like, "Yeah, Trunks is really strong. We play death battle all the time, and he always beats me." And he's like, "Whoa, I've really got to watch myself with these kids. These kids are really gonna surpass me if I don't step my game up." And yeah, so Gohan goes to the house, and who does he find there? He finds Videl. Finds Videl, and he finds his mother talking to Videl, and they are immediately arguing. It's really something funny to see. It's just crazy that immediately Chi Chi is just so protective of Gohan still, and it's something that all mothers do, but still, it's just so embarrassing that she starts making assumptions of Videl. She automatically just presumes that Videl is this little hooker, basically, and Gohan is telling her about how Videl is the one who told him about the tournament. I wouldn't know about the tournament if it wasn't for her. And she says, okay, but don't you make a pass at him. He needs to support his family. And she's like, I wouldn't make a pass at your son. I'm here to train to learn how to fly. And they get into this immediate bicker. And yeah, it's just, oh gosh, it's funny to see how similar Videl and Chi-Chi are. I guess that's why they're clashing right now because of how similar they are. But anyway, we get into the next scene, and Gohan is about to teach Videl and Goten how to fly, and Videl's like, "How do you fly?" And Gohan's like, well, you use your energy. She's like, energy? He's like, yeah, your energy. And Goten's like, yeah, like this. And he blasts like a small crater. And he's like, yeah, pretty much like that. That's how you learn how to do it. And she's dumbfounded. Like she's never seen anything happen like that before. So she says, that's a trick. He's like, no, that's not a trick. And he shows that reminiscent scene of like, this is your energy. Here you go, and she's like, oh, and it shows the scene of her drawing out the energy, and it was really something to see that Videl is a very fast learner at this point. So yeah, she's like, okay, I'm ready to try for real, and he's like, okay, okay, let's go, slow your roll down, cowboy. And he, we get into the next scene where Goku is training in Otherworld, and basically he's training with 2-ton weights on all of his limbs, and the South Kai comes with his new warrior, Papoy, I believe his name was Papoy, and he shows off his new warrior like maybe he should enter the New World tournament too. And he's like, oh, okay. So King Kai's getting a little cocky. He's like, yo, Goku, why don't you say we amp up the weight a little bit? And Goku's like, how much? And King Kai's like, 10 tons on each one. He's like, 10 tons? That's too much. And King Kai's like, well, if you go Super Saiyan, and Goku's like, oh, that'll be too easy, man. And South Kai's like, too easy? What? And he says, well, South Kai, you do the honors. And he does so after saying, well, you do realize it's 10 tons. He's like, oh, just get on with it. And he does. So he goes 10 tons and he turns Super Saiyan. He baffles them and they run away. It was just something funny to see South Kai's amazement and King Kai's just gloating of his prized warrior Goku. So we get out of there and we finally realize that Videl has made progress. She's made progress in her training of the flight technique that Gohan is teaching her, and she is doing well, especially for a base human that has nowhere near as much power as all of the other warriors. So it's really something to see. So Gohan is talking to her, and she says, "I'm going to come back again tomorrow." And Gohan's like, "No, no, 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 no! You don't need to come back tomorrow. You've got a hang of this. All you got to do is fly on your own. Just train on your own." And she's like, "No, I want to learn more about this. Unless I'm a burden to you." And he's like, "No, no, 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 no. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it." And she's like, "Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow." And he's like, "Wait, wait, 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 Videl, before you go, you should cut your hair." And she starts blushing like, you like girls with short hair, Gohan? And he's like, oh, no, 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 that's not what I meant. I meant that you should cut your hair because it would get in the way of you fighting. It could brush up against your face. And she gets immediately flustered for the obvious reason. She thought that Gohan, she likes Gohan, obviously. It's made obvious in this episode that she's starting to grow to like Gohan. And Gohan just really has no clue of this, and she gets angry and lashes out and is like, what do you know? Just stay out of it. And he's like, okay, okay. And she leaves, and Goten's like, what was that about? And he's like, I don't know. And yeah, it was just something to see in that regard. So we jump into the next scene where Vegeta is fighting with Trunks, well, training with Trunks, and Trunks is trying to walk around in 150 times gravity. It's crazy. And Vegeta is like, well, you shouldn't try to train and push yourself so hard, son. It it really would be something bad if you got crushed in 150 times gravity. He's like, I guess you're right. Maybe I should just go Super Saiyan. And Vegeta's like, what? And he turns Super Saiyan just like Goten did, and he just starts running around at 150 times gravity. And Vegeta's like, what is this, a Super Saiyan bargain sale? And he's like, Trunks, stop. I want you to hit me. And he's like, you know I can't do that. He's like, oh, fine then. You want to play that game? We'll play that game. If you can hit me, I'll take you to the amusement park. And he's like, really? Okay then, here I come. They square up and they start fighting. And Vegeta is just actually challenged by Trunks, especially since he's worn out from training. So Trunks actually managed to skip Vegeta, and he punches Trunks, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, should I hit my own son?" And Trunks is crying a little bit. He's like, "You didn't say you'd hit me." And he said, "Well, I didn't say I wouldn't hit you. Now did I?" And he said, "Now dry your tears. We're going to the amusement park." He's like, "Yay!" And Goten's like, I mean, Goten. Vegeta's like, "Well, I have one question for you before we go. Is Goten, the son of Kakarot, this strong too?" He's like, "No, he's not quite as strong as me. He can turn Super Saiyan, but he can't fly, so I'm a little bit stronger." He's like, "A little bit stronger. We'll see about that." And we jump into the next scene where Gohan is about to train with Goten again, and Goten is like, "Where's Videl today? Is she coming?" He's like, "I don't know. I just don't understand that girl." And a jet arrives, and we see a girl come out of it, and we're shocked that it's Videl with shorter hair. She took Gohan's advice, and the episode ends with Gohan just confused, does not know what to think about girls. And I find it funny that, especially in the last episode, 99, that I reviewed, I mentioned that Gohan does not know much about people. He doesn't know much about social interaction. So it's funny to see that he really just does not have a clue about girls or people. So yeah, that was basically this week's episode. Uh yeah, just like, comment, favorite, subscribe if you like this content. I'll be doing these reviews every week. So yeah, this was Dr. Slump here, and I thank you for watching and have a slumpalicious day.